Hello, everybody. This is the Iceman. Interviews with the Iceman. We got a great interview today, man. I'm excited to have my man Keith Walker. Keith, how you doing, buddy?
Great, man. How are you doing, Iceman?
I'm doing good, man. I want to congratulate you. Your song Firewater just broke onto the top 40, New Country. Great job, man. You know, it's not easy for that to happen, but wanted to congratulate you on that.
Thank you very much. I'm excited about it. It's, I have a lot of great fans out there that went out and voted, and it was just, I'm blessed to be there for sure.
Yeah, no, you definitely are. And the thing also is, I've noticed since I had you in the rotation, Keith, man, your fans, I just get a ton of requests for your music. A lot of votes come in. I mean, you know, you got a great fan base. And let me ask you, I know you live in Nashville now, but
yeah, I do.
Where are you from originally?
I'm out of, I moved here from Southern California. I was a military brat growing up out in Louisiana, but then moved to Southern California with my family when I was a kid. And, I always wanted, my heart was always here, so I came back.
Right. Well, now, so Southern California, you know, I lived in San Diego a little bit, man. The sun of Southern California it was always a nice thing. But I tell you what, man, I'm partial to Nashville. I love it there, man. It's just, there's so much going on. And let me ask you something. As far as the music and what you got going on, tell me a little progression. When did you realize that you wanted to make a career out of music? And what was the path that got you to where you are now?
Man, that was, I grew up playing music, from the time I was 6, I was playing guitar. My dad taught me how. And so it just kind of hit me, though, when I was, when I turned 18, I was just like, man, this is what I wanted to do with my life. I kind of always had it in the back of my brain, but it just happened that way. And I went out and tried out for a scholarship to sing in college. And, I was awarded that huge opportunity and ended up singing opera in college. It made me the best singer I could possibly be. And, I got to learn theory, learn all about music. And I'm a big believer in, if you're going to do something, put 100% into it. And, but the problem was they wanted me to stop singing country music, and I was just not about that. So I was just kind of on this path and kind of figuring out what I wanted to do. It was I going to stay in college or not. And then I was on the road one day, rolled my truck, and decided, I'm going to Nashville. Life's too short to wait.
Right.
So that's why I'm here.
There you go. Now, was there an incident? Because I remember reading that there might have been an incident earlier that maybe gave you a little motivation to get into music, or how it would be your calling.
Yeah, my brother had a big part in that. When he was in high school, his high school sweetheart, my older brother, she got in a car wreck and she was put into a coma. And country music was always in my house, but I never really felt the true power of it until, he goes, hey man, I got to show you this song. He brings me into his room and he starts playing Don't Take the Girl by Tim McGraw, and the raw emotion I saw out of his face, he sang every word. It was like, I'm getting chills right now just thinking about it. And, I realized that if that's what country music can do, that's what I want to do. I want to be able to touch people's lives like that.
Right.
And that was kind of a turning point for me, knowing that that's exactly what I wanted to do.
Wow.
But, it wasn't until my car wreck that I decided, stop wasting time, let's get to Nashville, let's do this thing.
There you go, man. Just, sometimes it takes things like that and even tragedies to make you realize what is important and what needs to get done. You have a song that debuted on the top 40 with us called Firewater. Tell me a little about it. Is that something you wrote?
Yeah, it's something I wrote with my drummer, Chris Wright, and another buddy of mine, Sal Gonzalez. Sal was actually on America's Got Talent this last season. But anyways, the three of us got together. I had this little lick going on, and I'm like, man, and I had been playing this thing called Whiskey Jam out here in Nashville, and it's sponsored by Fireball.
Right.
And so I see this Fireball thing. I'm like, man, it reminds me of that, Firewater, and Firewater is what American Indians used to call, whiskey basically, or just booze in general. And I was like, man, that's a cool title. And I was like, man, what if she's like Firewater? And we kind of got there, and it's just like this rockin' tune that every time we take the stage, people are singing along. They're right there with us. It's definitely a crowd pleaser. And that's kind of what, when we were writing that, I was like, man, I want to be able to, this is a live song for sure. and it really has been taken up by the fans, and the fans have just eaten it up.
Yeah, no, they actually have, and like I said, it did debut on the Top 40. Why don't we play it right now? This is the Iceman Interviews with the Iceman. This is Keith Walker with Firewater.
She's got that neon fire deep in her soul. She's the reason you love country rock and roll. When she walks in the bar, she flirts with the fans. It's everybody up and singing with the band, and we go, oh, oh, oh. Sweet like heaven, burns like sin. Oh, oh, oh. Feels like satin on my skin. Crank that fiddle way up loud. She hits the dance floor when she hears that southern sound. When she starts moving her body to the beat, it gets so loud that you can hear us down the street when we go, oh, oh, oh. Sweet like heaven, burns like sin. Feels like satin on my skin. Oh, 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 oh. She's like whiskey, but hotter. She's fire water. Up on the bar when she hears her favorite song, screaming at the crowd, come on, you've gotta sing along, and we go, oh, oh, oh. Sweet like heaven, burns like sin. Oh, oh, oh. Feels like satin on my skin. Oh, oh, oh. Sweet like heaven, burns like sin. Oh, like satin on my skin. Oh, 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 oh. She's like whiskey, but hotter. She's fire water.
Okay, you got the Iceman. That's Firewater. We got Keith Walker with us today. And, Keith, who are your musical influences? Not only growing up, but even now.
Growing up, it was, I was hooked on Garth Brooks growing up since I was a kid, and I've seen him live like a handful of times, and it was just, his live show really just influenced me heavily when growing up. And then I started getting into like Toby Keith and George Strait and Brooks and Dunn back in the day, and now more I look in today's country market, I'm really digging what people like Eric Church are doing.
Right.
I think he's very, in his writing is top notch. Jason Isbell is another guy. He's kind of an indie guy, and Travis Meadows. And those are kind of guys that I found here in Nashville, because I believe in honing, the songwriting craft, making it the best I possibly can. So I look up to guys who write hit songs, and these are guys that do just that.
Right.
And so those are my kind of influences today. I'm looking for that song that really, when that hook comes in, when that title comes in at the end of the chorus, I am knocked out. And that's what I look for in my influences.
Right. Wow.
And so I would say, yeah, Jason Isbell, Eric Church, Travis Meadows. These are all guys that I think that if you haven't heard of them, definitely go check out. I'm sure you heard of Eric Church, but the other two are kind of coming up.
Right. Right. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, even the listeners, like I said, you check these guys out. Did you play the Bluebird last month? What do you got going on for shows, and what have you played recently?
I play the Bluebird a lot. I love playing there. It's really a special, intimate type of venue. Every time I play there, of course, there's a line out the door just because the venue, everybody, you know, that venue brings in a lot of people. And so I do a lot of rounds there, ride arounds, and basically, you know, I sit in a room with, last time I played there, I got to play with Wood Newton. He wrote Riding with Private Malone, and since then I started writing with him. You know, got to write, the same guy who wrote Mayberry, I Miss Mayberry, Rascal Flatts, you know, and you get to meet some great songwriters and great players. So it was I love playing the Bluebird. I got a Tootsie showcase coming up. I used to play Tootsies on a regular basis, but playing out there, and then we're talking about, my management and I are working on some big dates coming up outside of Nashville, and I'm excited to announce those, but I don't want to be premature in those, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't want to get you. I'm not going to ask you. I'm not going to be one of those interviewers that try to go for the jugular vein, man. I'm not going to ask you to get anything that's going to get you in trouble with management, you know. And then, you know, the Iceman, I went on his show, man. He's asking me all these questions. We're not going to go back there. No. Tell us something about you that maybe your fans or my listeners or even myself would be surprised to know about you.
Okay. You know, I've been in 14 accidents. Wrecks.
Wow.
And survived every single one of them.
Thankfully.
Yeah, no, I'm a good driver, I promise. I'm just, you know, I've been hit way too many times. You know, growing up in Los Angeles, for the most part, it was, you know, some crazy drivers out there, and I just, I've been in some, you know, knock on wood moments. Thank God I didn't, you know, but the big one was when I rolled my truck. That was, you know, I popped my tire, and that was the big one. But, you know, that was kind of crazy, so a lot of people are afraid to drive with me. But I promise, if you're in my truck.
But now, wait a minute. Do we need to edit this out? 14 accidents? I don't know if anybody from one of your insurance companies are listening. I don't want your rates to go up, man. I don't know. Maybe,
you don't want to pay my insurance.
No, maybe I'll have my guys edit that out, or we'll beep that out. You know, we'll leave it a surprise for anything. But now, let me ask. Also, I've read something. You're a trained opera singer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I had a scholarship for in college.
Right.
So I wouldn't call myself a professional opera singer. The guys that I was in college with, they were, I mean, a lot of them have gone on to sing in Europe and, you know, get paid to sing in Europe. I just, you know, I was just on scholarship. It was really a gift to be able to learn that because it made me that much more of a powerful singer. Right. And like I said before, you know, I'm a total believer in being the best you possibly can. You can always get better. So when, to me, that's one of the hardest things you can do is sing opera. And I went all in.
Right. Good. We're going to play another song called Miles from You. Before we do, maybe you could tell myself and the listeners a little about it.
Yeah, this song, actually, I was writing with these two guys. I was writing with John Henderson and Neil Cody, and they're hit songwriters. It was the first time I got to sit down in a room with these guys, and I was very excited about, you know, being able to write with these two. You know, they've written tons of hits, and I'm sitting down with these guys for the first time, and right away Neil starts talking about how he's on. You know, he probably doesn't want me telling people, but you know, he's got his exes. He's got a number of exes, but he ran into his ex, and he was telling us about it, you know, and his ex-wife. And he was like, man, it was just like I didn't care anymore. It was like I had moved on. I finally figured out that I was miles from you. And when he said that, that's kind of where we were like, oh, man, that's it. Let's go right there. Let's go in with that. And, you know, the song it was one of those blessings that just they kind of wrote themselves, you know. I have held the pen, but God moved the pen.
Right.
One of those.
Awesome. Well, we're going to play it right now. This is Keith Walker. Name of the song is Miles from You. You got interviews with the Iceman.
I remember that Best Western, outskirts of Kansas City, talking and pretending you were laying right there with me, holding on long distance. You way too far away. Waking in the morning, phone pressed against my face. Miles from you, miles from you. All alone, only there, wishing I was anywhere melted in the kitchen. The tighter I held on to you, the more I felt you drifting out the door, down the road. And I just saw myself as a lost highway that turned you into that someone else. Miles from you, miles from you. All alone, lonely there, wishing I was anywhere but miles from you. Last night I ran into you, my eyes just passed right through you, and I know it must have looked like, girl, I never even knew you. Yeah, I saw you there with him, and I could tell you were in love, and the way it did, it hit me, was the way I knew I was. Miles from you, miles from you, miles from you, miles from you. Understanding, standing there, I finally found myself somewhere. Miles from you, miles from you,
This is the Iceman, interviews with the Iceman. That was Miles from You. We got Keith Walker talking to us today. And, hey, Keith, I hear that is, first of all, I know there's a new single coming out soon. And I know your new EPK just dropped. Why don't you tell us a little about what you have going on there?
Yeah, so we just went in. We went and did. I teamed up with Gems on VHS, which is a video company out here in Nashville. Great guys, but I do a lot of my videos with these guys, and I've wanted to basically tell my story on just video out on YouTube, so that kind of like a bio, so that people can kind of get to know me if you've never heard of me. And I think it's the perfect thing. So we put it. Usually it's used for promo, but after we got done, we decided to release it on YouTube so that anybody can go and see it, instead of just having it for promotional use for press and stuff like that. So we're excited to have that out there. So now it's on YouTube. Go check it out. And then for the single, it's called The Chase, and this is a special song to me because it's basically about how I met my wife. And it's the story of being in Nashville. I mean, I met my wife in a Broadway bar down in Nashville, and it was if you want to know how I met my wife, just listen to the lyrics of that song and you'll know. But that's coming out in March. We're excited. We're going to release a video on Vivo for that as well.
Oh, great, man. I'd love to world premiere it. Now, does the song say what bar you met her at on Broadway?
No, but I can tell you it was Second Fiddle. I'm
down there a lot. As you know, Iceman gets down to Nashville. I try to get down there once every 6 weeks or so. So, all right. So every time I go into Second Fiddle now, it's going to mean a little more to me now that you heard that. Now that I heard that you met your wife there. How's that?
That's right. All right.
That's
Sounds
a great.
Good. You give me a shout too.
No, you definitely will get that. It's funny because if I came out with the song "The Chase," It would actually be about my divorce, not how I met my ex. Well, that's a great story, man. I'll tell you what, I can't wait to be able to hear that song because, like I said, the feedback and just the fans on Firewater and you know, all the time I go into the requests of the station or the emails and even on social media, and they're just, hey, can you play Keith? Can you play Keith? So I know that's real exciting. I can't wait to hear that.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm blessed. Definitely blessed to have the fans that I've got. You know, they're more than fans. I consider them friends. It's great.
That's how you do it. Let me ask you. I do a lot with the new country artist, as you know. Do you have any advice? Because I have a lot of the artists listening in. Advice for your peers on what you've been through it and what you're going through to try to get yourself out there. Do you have any advice you can give some of the listeners that are in the same business?
Absolutely. Well, first, if you're thinking about doing it, don't think about it, just do it. And you know, this piece of advice was given to me when I first started. They said, if you can see yourself doing anything else but country music, do it, because it's a heartbreak, and just know that going in. But you know, it's worthwhile, and if you're willing to stay the course and go for it and give it your all, just like anything you should in life. And, you know, that really rung true with me because I really thought about it. I was like, well, honestly, I can't see myself doing anything else. I'm not much good at anything else. So that was just that was my kind of thing. But, you know, also there's a lot of guys in Nashville that'll promise you the world when you first get here. Just be very, very wary of some people out here and just make sure that, you know, you stay true to your music and what you want to be and don't let anybody else change you for you.
Right. Right. No, that's good, and I appreciate that, and I know not only the listeners but a lot of the artists that, you know, are trying to get out there like you would appreciate that. But I'm going to play devil's advocate on what you just said. If you didn't get into country music, what would your other career be?
You know, and I was thinking about that. Honestly, I think the only other thing I could be, I'm a history buff. I love history. I'd probably go do something with history. I don't know, you know, history professor, something like that. I don't know.
Right.
I don't like school so much, but well, just go learn it. I love, you know, and I kind of gained that when I was studying music because I got to study music history out in Europe when I was singing out there, and it was, you know, I just kind of fell in love with the history of music, and I think I'd probably get into something like that. But honestly, I don't think I'm much good at anything else.
You know what? You're really good at really good at country music, brother. So you know we're glad you're not in a classroom somewhere. You know, with your talent just not out there. No, you do the right thing. And like I said, I love playing your music, and you know, I appreciate, you know, what you're doing, and I know your fans certainly do.
Well, I love you for it, brother.
Thank you, man. Where can your fans find you? Let them know, you know, website, Twitter, Facebook, all your social media. Just let them know where they can find you.
Absolutely. First place is my website, www.keithwalker.net. That's not .com, that's .net. You can find all the links to all my social media on there, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and you can find my music on there. You can read stories behind the songs. You can, you know, check out my videos on there for YouTube, and you can also find a link to iTunes. And we've got some merch up there too, if you want a shirt or something like that. It's up to you. But we've got, you know, for Twitter, if you don't follow me, find me at K Walker Country. And yeah, man, and reach out to me and say hi. Said you found me on the Iceman.
There you go. Well, Keith, we're going to close it out with one last song. You can tell us a little about it before. It's What a Broken Heart Can Do.
Yeah.